So I'm going to be talking now to, actually, it was a connection through Fifth Third, through Marcus Jackson, who oversees a facet of Fifth Third's in community investment, if you will. So we have actually Robert Butler, and we want to say hello. Robert is actually the owner of Easy Breezy Productions, and they believe in the need for original quality entertainment. Their latest project, by the way, The Color of Life, was filmed here right in Michigan, and it's an example of creative opportunities that are expanding in the state. Let's take a look.
My boy, humans tell stories. It's our native language. And story is a powerful thing. It informs us, makes us feel, and it can teach us. Sean, you're in the very beginning of your story. You're now beginning to learn about the triumphs and failures of life, conflict, love, friendship, joy, pain, fear, victory, defeat, change. Only you get to determine how your story is played out.
Back, and I just wanted to have you, Robert Butler. I think we're on camera with him now. Where's Robert? There he is. How you doing, Robert?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Good, man. Thank you for making time for us, and thank you for being here. So, I just want to ask you a question. So, tell me the story behind Life Ain't Like the Movies.
Well, the story behind Life Ain't Like the Movies is, well, there is a director named John Hughes, and he always says, write what you know. So this came more from my own personal experiences going through, high school and things like that. There's a character in the film called Pops, played by the incredible Paul Bates. He's basically based off of my grandfather. A lot of the things that Pop says to his grandson in the film is what he says to me. And, maybe just it's kind of like semi-autobiographical, just, a little bit more dramatized. So, based on life experiences going through high school.
That's pretty powerful, man. So how did you get into film, right? And when did you realize it was like a real job?
So I would say I first got into film when I was about 4 years old. It was the very first time I saw the movie Star Wars. I was enraptured by it. I was sitting down at my aunt and uncle's house, and they had these tapes of Star Wars.
Wow.
I put it in, and I've been hooked ever since. I told my parents, I want to do that. I don't know exactly what that is, but I want to do that. But film really became a job for me at the age of 14, I would say, because there was a public access channel station in our city that it was hiring people, and hiring people of our age group, like high school students, to help film local events, film like sports games, film city council meetings, things like that. And so it became a job for me at about the age of 14.
Wow, that's really cool. So talk to us a little bit about some of your other work, and also you have films currently and awards. I mean, there's lots of recognition coming to you right now, but talk about some of your upcoming projects and some of your other projects.
Gotcha. So Life Ain't Like the Movies is our first feature film. Basically, a feature film is anything longer than 40 minutes. Before that, we were doing short films, 2 short films that were called Color of Life and The Lottery. We won awards all over the world. We won awards in Italy, Spain, France, Canada, New York, LA, Australia, the UK, Brussels. We won awards pretty much all over the world. And this latest film, Life Ain't Like the Movies, we've been selected for 16 film festivals. We won 7 different awards for Best Feature Film, Best Supporting Actor, Best Original Score, which is the music for the film. And it's just, just a lot of recognition for, a lot of the hard work that we put in over the years. The next project we're working on is called The Pact, where we'll be shooting here and in LA. So we're starting pre-production on that by the end of the year. So that's the next project we're working on, which is another feature film.
Wow, that's great, man. So as you see, we actually are asking for students to put some questions in the chat. I mean, the opportunity to have connection, conversation with a filmmaker, it's right now. So we're going to ask that you put your questions in the chat, and let's let's get some conversation going. Robert's here to answer some of those questions for you. And so, are there any questions right now? Okay. Okay.
I do
all right.
want,
cool. All right.
I do want to say that.
So
Can I say
Robert,
something real quick?
go ahead. No, Robert, go ahead.
No, because I was watching some of the films before, I was, scheduled to speak watching the films. I'm very impressed by a lot of the films I saw, especially there was one that he was doing stop motion with Legos. I'm not sure which student did that, but that takes a lot of skill and time to do because you have to do everything frame by frame, bit by bit. So whichever student did that, I want to applaud you because that takes a lot of hard work and a lot of patience. I don't know if I necessarily have the patience to do that type of work, but kudos to you for doing that. Also, I love seeing that people are filming things with iPhones and things like that, because my biggest thing when I'm talking to people about how to start in film is you start where you are with what you have. So seeing people use their iPhones to do film and things like that is a great thing, because back when I was doing film, when I was in high school, we didn't have all these tools. So it was a lot harder for us to make projects. So I'm very thrilled to see a lot of young students using what they have using what they have to film what they want. So I'm very, very excited to see that.
Wow, thank you, Robert. So you see there's a question there for you.
Yes.
It says, can you talk about how you got the financing for your films, and are you working in Michigan?
So how I got the financing for all my films is they all have been self-financed at this point. The last one, we had a budget of about $70,000. Before I did this film, I worked at Apple for about 6 years, and they had a stock program. So I invested in that stock program, and that stock program is what paid for my feature film and my other films, just because of making smart financial decisions. And that's how I self-finance now. But because of the reputation I've built through these short films and these feature films, now we have investors looking at possibly investing in our next films and things like that. So I don't have to self-finance anymore. But yes, I am working in Michigan.
That's pretty powerful. So thank you for that. And also, just to have people take note, you talked about the financial side. So the business side, they call it, right, show business, because there's a business side to it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So another question is, what is your favorite film you have made and why?
I would have to say the most recent film, Life Ain't Like the Movies, is my most favorite film so far that I made, because as a filmmaker and as a creator, I am very harsh on myself on the things that I make. And so for me to actually sit back and watch the film and actually love it for how much of me I put into the film is why I love it more, why I love it the most. It's just, everything came together beautifully from the cast. Like Paul Bates, he was in the movie Coming to America. Cinda Williams, she was in One False Move with Denzel Washington, Mo Better Blues with Denzel Washington. We just had a great cast, we had a great crew, and it just came together a lot. It came together beautiful, and I love the film. It's just it's very personal, so that's probably why I love it the most.
Yeah, wow, that's excellent. Thank you. So, I've got another question here. Let me see. It says, what inspiration should we aspire to use? What inspiration should we aspire to use in looking up to movie stars? And is looking up to movie stars a good thing? Like, how should we be inspired, and is looking up to movie stars a good thing?
Well, being inspired comes from, anything you do in life. I mean, like I said earlier, John Hughes is a director. He said, write what you know. John Hughes did movies like Home Alone, The Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, things like that. And he drew from his own personal experiences and made movies about that. So you can be inspired by literally anything around you, from your own personal life, from sports to, going to an art gallery to, whatever you love to do, that can inspire you to write and to create. So looking up the different movie stars, I would say yes, with, just don't put them on on a pedestal, because sometimes, people are people. They have mistakes, they fall, and they can disappoint you. So don't put them on a pedestal. You can look up to them, you can, be inspired by them, but just remember that they are human and they make mistakes, and sometimes, things happen. So I would say, don't put them on too high of a pedestal.
Right. No, thank you for that. So another question, Robert, that came in, it says, on average, how much time do you invest into your films?
Whew, that is a good question. Life Ain't Like the Movies took about 3 years from scripting uh, to post production, because we started in like late 2018, and we just premiered the film in June of this year. We just finished the film sometime early in May or early in April, so that one took about 3 years. The short films took a lot less time. The short films could take a few months, but feature films, there's so much you have to do, from pre-production to financing to scripting and everything like that. You want to make sure that everything is as perfect as it can be. Nothing will ever be perfect, but you try to make it as perfect as it can be. And the feature film took about 3 years.
So you better love what you do, right?
Yes.
So, well, listen, Robert, I want to say thank you again, and so glad that Marcus Jackson at Fifth Third connected us, and we want to continue to build this friendship, this relationship, and just really appreciate you making time for us, and continued success to you in your work, and thank you for telling great stories.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me. I thank you for Marcus for introducing us too. This has been great. I love talking to students. I love inspiring the next generation of filmmakers any way that I can.